I wanted to talk a little bit about a couple of things and see how they intersect, and if they don't, they don't. I wanted to talk about the notion of spirituality, because it's something that comes up for a lot of people in recovery. And I also wanted to talk a little bit about the aspect of it being called a family disease, or at least a family problem for those who are not comfortable with the idea of disease. Spirituality, for me, is not something that's mysterious. It's not something that's outside this room or kind of out in the air somewhere, and it's not over here. I kind of believe that one thing that I've stuck by for a long time, and I'm willing to say it out loud right here, is that one of the most spiritual things that I can think of is a room filled, and filled could be 2 or 3, with alcoholics and addicts who are not using. The fact that they're not out destroying their lives anymore, the fact that I'm not out destroying my life anymore, is, to me, I'm sorry, that's a definition of spiritual. It should go in the dictionary, or at least in the encyclopedia. And for me, spirituality, and again, this might be my own bias because of the spiritual path that I've been on, is that spirituality is found in the day-to-day, moment-to-moment, just the actions that we take and the thoughts that we have and the little acts of kindness that we do, and even the acts of not-so-kindness that we do. That's where spirituality is based, and that's what it really is about. It's also about all the bells and whistles that go with organized spirituality, or even organized religion, or any of those things, or New Age books, or any self-help, anything that you're looking at. But I think in the end that it's less about that than it is about the simplicity of being mindful and being in the moment and keeping oneself walking forward in one's life and trying to do no harm. And the way that connects with the idea of family is that the reason why I find it to be so spiritual that a group of addicts and alcoholics might be in a room together and not using is that by not using anymore, they start the process right away of not doing harm to themselves, and by virtue of that action, they stop doing harm to their families. And on the flip side, once the family sees the person making the effort and doing these actions that are allowing them to recover and to not use anymore, then it becomes a project or a mission for the family member to perhaps look and see what it is that they might need to do in order to move forward with their path and find their mission and to work on their lives. Because often family members have been very focused on the addict as they've been going through what they're going through. And once the addict is taking care of themselves, then the family is faced with, what do we do here now? I guess we do something else. And also maybe even learn from the experiences of the addicted family member, to learn really what not to do, learn what to do, and to learn what the process of forgiveness looks like. Because the addict is often in the position of having to ask for all kinds of forgiveness for all the things they've done. And forgiveness is this wonderful two-way process of forgiving and being forgiven. So the spiritual possibilities, especially when spirituality is looked at as a very simple thing, the spiritual possibilities are kind of endless for both the addict and the family. And that can manifest in a lot of different ways. And so, if you're finding yourself addicted, or if you're in early recovery, just finding whatever spirituality might mean to you, whatever the simple day-to-day taking care of oneself, taking care of yourself And if you are a family member worried about someone with addiction, to find what it is you need to find in order to, or what I've done is I find what I need to find in order to maintain a peace of mind in the face of that kind of tumultuous and difficult emotion. And if I'm working or dealing with a family member or a loved one who is in early recovery or in recovery, to have that same ability to keep the focus on myself and take care of myself. And through that self-care, that actually does rub off on the addict, just the same way that the self-care of the addict can rub off on the family. So, again, this is coming from my own experience, my own personal feelings, and also coming from my experience as a clinician working specifically on these issues of spirituality in my practice. And between those two experiences, I found that the more that addicts and family members simplify their ideas or simplify our ideas about what spirituality really is, the more that